Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Francis Entertainment Center. And the next stories today are called Bubblestand and Ripped Pants. Enjoy the videos. One morning, SpongeBob walks outside to breathe in the neighborhood's peacefulness. Then loudly builds a bubble stand, much to the annoyance of Squidward, who demands SpongeBob to be quiet while he's practicing his clarinet playing. SpongeBob stops for a time, takes a few tentative taps on his hammer, then quickly finishes construction before Squidward has a chance to complain again. At the newly built stand, SpongeBob offers customers an opportunity to blow a bubble for 25 cents. Patrick comes by and asks to try it out. Though he does not have any money, he borrows a quarter from SpongeBob to pay for it. Unfortunately, Patrick's strained blowing fails to produce a bubble. SpongeBob offers to teach him for an extra quarter, which he happily loans to Patrick. SpongeBob then demonstrates his somewhat peculiar, yet effective, bubble blowing technique, which produces a variety of bubble shapes, including a massive L-shaped bubble that gets stuck in Squidward's house and pops. The fuming Squidward comes out and approaches the now ostensibly closed bubble stand. He demands to know how they can cause so much disruption just by blowing bubbles. SpongeBob explains that he is creating art and utilizing his technique to its fullest potential. Squidward scoffs off at SpongeBob's ideas of art and marketing, sending SpongeBob and Patrick back to their homes in a sad mood. Still snickering, Squidward begins to examine the bubble wand out of growing curiosity. As he tries to blow a bubble himself, SpongeBob quickly comes out and tells Squidward to pay a quarter, shocking him. Squidward reluctantly lays down a quarter for the bubble, suggesting that it is a very simple feat. Squidward attempts to impress the two with his skill to no avail. All the while, SpongeBob and Patrick try to convince him to use the technique. Fed up and annoyed, Squidward furiously and tauntingly copies their technique, then screams into the wand in anger, produces a giant bubble that impresses SpongeBob and Patrick. Squidward, claiming credit for the bubble he blew, heads back inside his house and plays his clarinet once more, with SpongeBob and Patrick chanting his name while dancing. However, the giant bubble descends and encapsulates Squidward's house, unearthing it and floating with it up in the air as SpongeBob and Patrick watch in horror and try to call Squidward's name to get his attention. When at last Squidward looks outside to his great fans, he sits himself high above the ground with SpongeBob and Patrick, little more than specks. The bubble then pops with explosive force, prompting SpongeBob and Patrick to look at each other nervously and retreat to their houses. Once Squidward's house floats back to the ground, Squidward lets out a few final, fully feeble notes from his clarinet. One day, SpongeBob and Sandy are having a good time at the lagoon. A lobster named Larry comes by and asks them if they want to lift some weights. They accept, even though SpongeBob is not in the mood to do weights. Larry and Sandy do several impressive weight stunts while SpongeBob tries to pick up a stick. When SpongeBob strains to pick up a stick with 2 marshmallows on the sides, he accidentally rips his pants. This causes everyone to laugh, prompting SpongeBob to continue making ripped pants jokes. However, some people find SpongeBob's jokes annoying. At some point, SpongeBob fakes himself drowning in order to make a ripped pants joke. But this ended up upsetting everyone, as it causes them, most importantly, Sandy, to get upset with SpongeBob for faking a drown. So they continue to play without him. SpongeBob tries to figure out more ripped pants jokes, as the last one did not work, but realizes nobody's paying attention to him, and tears off his pants during the course of one of these jokes. A pair of pants suddenly takes on a personality and deserts SpongeBob as well. He sees some other people who make big mistakes. As a result, SpongeBob decides to sing a song about how he lost his friends due to ripping his pants. Sandy forgives SpongeBob for what he did, and he rips his underwear while signing Larry's shorts, making him embarrassed.